What if I told you that every failure you've ever experienced is the exact thing standing between you and your greatness? What if I said that the pain you're running from is the very pain that will set you free? Welcome to KJ Force. Today, we're diving deep into the truth about failure and why it's the most misunderstood force in your life. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you failed? I mean, truly failed. Not the kind of failure you brush off with a laugh or a shrug. I'm talking about the kind of failure that keeps you up at night. The kind that makes you question everything about yourself, your abilities, your worth, your future. That kind of failure. It hurts, doesn't it? It feels like a weight you can't shake off, like a scar that never heals. But what if I told you that failure isn't your enemy? What if I told you that failure is the one thing that can unlock your potential, if you let it? Today, we're going to uncover the truth about failure. Not the sugar-coated version you hear in motivational speeches. Not the just keep going platitudes. We're going to dig into the raw, unfiltered reality of what failure really is and how you can use it to fuel your rise. Let's start with this. Failure is an illusion. Yes, you heard me right. Failure isn't real. It's not a destination. It's not a verdict on your life. It's a moment. A single moment in time. But here's the problem. We treat failure like it's permanent, like it defines us, like it's the end of the road. Think about it. When you fail, what's the first thing you do? You internalize it. You make it personal. You tell yourself, I'm not good enough. I'll never succeed. I'm a failure. But here's the truth. Failure isn't who you are. It's just something that happened. And what happens next is entirely up to you. Let me ask you this. What would happen if you stopped seeing failure as a dead end and started seeing it as a detour? What if every failure was just a redirection? A sign that you're one step closer to where you're meant to be. Here's the thing about failure. It's not the event itself that destroys us. It's the story we tell ourselves about it. The narrative we create in our minds. The what ifs, the if onlys, the I should haves. Those stories, they're the real enemy. Let me give you an example. Think about Thomas Edison. You've probably heard the story about how he failed 1,000 times before inventing the light bulb. But here's what most people don't talk about. Those 1,000 failures weren't just experiments. They were lessons. Each one taught him something new. Each one brought him closer to success. Now think about your own life. When you fail, what's the story you tell yourself? Are you the hero who's learning and growing? Or are you the victim who's stuck in a cycle of defeat? The truth is, you get to choose. You get to decide what your failures mean. So, I'll ask you again. What's the story you're telling yourself? And more importantly, is it serving you? Let's get real for a moment. Failure hurts. It's supposed to. Growth isn't comfortable. It's not easy. It's messy. It's painful. But here's the thing. That pain, it's a sign that you're alive, that you're pushing yourself, that you're reaching for something greater. Think about a muscle. When you work out, what happens? It tears, it breaks down, it hurts. But then, it rebuilds. It grows stronger. Failure works the same way. It breaks you down. It tears you apart. But if you keep going, if you keep pushing, you'll rebuild. And you'll come back stronger than ever. So, I want you to ask yourself this. Are you willing to endure the pain of growth? Are you willing to embrace the discomfort of failure for the sake of becoming the person you're meant to be? Here's the truth. Failure doesn't define you, but how you respond to it, that does. Resilience isn't something you're born with. It's something you build, one failure at a time. Think about J.K. Rowling. Before she became one of the most successful authors in history, she was a single mother living on welfare. Her manuscript for Harry Potter was rejected by 12 publishers. 12th. But she didn't give up. She kept going. And now, her story has inspired millions. So what about you? When life knocks you down, do you stay down? Or do you get back up? Do you let failure defeat you? Or do you use it as fuel to keep going? Here's the bottom line. Failure isn't the end. It's the beginning. It's the starting point of your comeback story. But here's the catch. You have to be willing to take the first step. You have to be willing to try again, to risk failing again, to keep going even when it feels impossible. So, I'll leave you with this. What's one thing you've been too afraid to try because you're scared of failing? What's one dream you've put on hold because you're worried it won't work out? Whatever it is, I want you to go after it. Not because it's easy, not because it's guaranteed, but because you owe it to yourself to try. Remember this. The pain of progress is temporary, but the regret of quitting, that lasts forever. Failure isn't your enemy. It's your teacher, your guide, your stepping stone to greatness. So, embrace it, learn from it, and use it to fuel your rise. Now, I want to hear from you. What's one thing you're willing to struggle for? What's one dream you're ready to fight for? Let me know in the comments. And if this video resonated with you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. This is KJ Force, and I'll see you in the next one.